Let's talk about the number one story in America and around the world, and that is this election. We have 11 days and counting. What's the real clear averages on the 7 battleground states? Let's look over in Arizona. Trump up 1.5. Biden was up by 2. Hillary 1.5 at this point with 11 days left. Trump is winning in Nevada. That would be a shocker. He's up 0.7. Biden was up by 5. Hillary by 3. They would hold on to those states. Trump would actually win Arizona. Trump lost Wisconsin, won in 2016, then lost it. Right now, he is up by 0.2, obviously within the margin of error. In Michigan, Trump broke the blue wall in 2016. He then was put back together by Joe Biden just barely. Right now, Trump leads by 0.2%. In Pennsylvania, where everyone's focused on, you have Trump up by 0.6. In Pennsylvania at this point, Biden was up by 4.8, Hillary 5.2. As you know, Hillary would go on to lose that. In North Carolina, the last time a Democrat won that was Barack Obama. At this point with North Carolina, Biden was up 1.2, Hillary up by 2.2. And then in Georgia, Trump lost it famously in 2020. He's now leading by 2.2%. Good things he mended fences with the governor there. Biden has been up, was up by 0.7 at this point. He'd go on to win it. Trump was up by 3.3. He would go on to win it against Hillary Clinton. Here to discuss this, where we stand in the race, and what could still change, the founder and president of RealClearPolitics, Tom Bevan. Tom, what's your takeaway from Trump leading but in the margin of error?
Yeah, 5 of the 7 battlegrounds, as you just laid out, Brian, are under 1 percentage point. And this could be, I get asked this all the time when we talk about, are these polls accurate, right? Are they undercounting Trump's support like they did in 2020 and 2016? And obviously, if they are, he's got even bigger leads in these states. But it seems to be very close. At the national level, Harris is leading in our average, but by 0.3 of 1 percentage point. So Trump's in a way stronger position now than he was 4 years ago and 8 years ago.
So you got to wonder why Kamala Harris would go to Texas, since it's not a battleground state. She's not going to win it. She's going to go there to help Colin Allred against Senator Ted Cruz, where Allred's trailing. Why would you worry so much about the Senate, especially if you should be worried about getting the presidency?
Well, right. I mean, it's an interesting strategic decision for her as president, but for the Senate, it makes sense. I mean, Democrats, the map is pretty rough for them this year, with Joe Manchin leaving. Jon Tester's in big trouble in Montana. Sherrod Brown is in some trouble in Ohio. And Ted Cruz represents really the only opportunity for Democrats to pick somebody off. A recent poll there had that race at 1 point. He's up about 4.2 points in our average. I went back and looked. In 2018, now Donald Trump wasn't on the ballot, okay, but Cruz only won by 3 points. But his final polls were 6.8. He underperformed his polls by 4.2%, exactly where he is right now.
Here, Dan Patrick, the lieutenant governor, said Kamala Harris coming to Texas for a rally is one of the dumbest political decisions I've ever seen. She and Colin Allred are not going to win Texas. I'm glad she's spending the day in Texas instead of campaigning in a swing state. Only a few days left in the election. I hope she stays longer. So the question is, where do you go if you want to close strong? If you are, for example, Trump, where would you be heading looking at these 7 battlegrounds? He was in Nevada yesterday. He's going to be in Pennsylvania on Saturday. He's going to be in New York on Sunday. Where would you tell the Trump camp to go?
Oh, I'd go to Pennsylvania. I mean, listen, he's ahead. He's over 2 points in Georgia. He's 1.5 points in Arizona. So the Sun Belt is looking pretty good for Donald Trump, which leaves Kamala Harris. Her path right now is basically Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. If she wins those 3, she can lose everything else and win at 270, 268. Trump wins any of those states, he's going to be president.
Harris, if you're the vice president, what state would you say I got to lock this up, or I got to come back and take this? Where would you go?
Well, obviously, as I just said, she's got to win those upper 3. I think her best opportunity outside of that is North Carolina. 16 electoral votes. It would give her a little wiggle room in the blue wall if she could lose Michigan or Wisconsin if she picks up North Carolina and still win the presidency.
Tuesday, she's going to give her closing argument. It's going to be at the Ellipse. Some have said it's going to be all about January 6th, and it's going to be about our democracies at stake. Is that the closing message that will resonate with the American people?
Not if you believe the polls. I mean, the economy, inflation is the #1 issue by 3 or 4 times the next biggest issue. Threat to democracy is somewhere well down the list. And so that's not what voters care about. So I think it hasn't moved the needle thus far. I don't expect it will as a closing argument.
Yeah. Tom, you got to wonder if you're Joe Biden, if you have one of those clear thoughts, you might be saying, I could be doing better than that. We'll see what happens when it's all said and done. Tom Bevan, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Real Clear. Everyone goes to that when they wake up in the morning.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.